Yo, GM Adam, one more day at this Airbnb that you're at, or wherever it is.
Bro, I'm literally fiddling with my kid's hotspot because I told you I ran out of like data on my phone, and like the first day I burned through like 40 gigs of data. I don't know how the hell it happened, but now I'm on my kid's plan and I'm back and forth with the hotspot. It is a complete shit show here in Portland. So I apologize if there's any technical issues, guys, but I'm doing the best I can, man. You'd figure 40 gigs would be enough for 3 days of shows, but apparently not. I'm into the 80 gig range now for shows. So it's all good, man.
Hey, we cooking. GM Chris, what's going? You feeling better?
GM, still missing my voice, but feeling good. So ready to rock. Adam, man, what is going on in Portland that they don't have any internet?
Dude, I told you, well, I don't know if I told you guys yesterday on the show, but I think I told Jake offline. It was like, I fiddled around with this, literally spent an entire afternoon trying to basically fix this house's like internet and texting with the Airbnb owner who was like in Europe and back and forth. And she assures me this is the highest speed possible from whoever the provider is and blah, 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 blah. Eventually, I turned off the routers. There are a couple routers in the house, turned them off, turned them back on, unplugged, plugged them back in. And then I was like, wait, let me check the back of this box. And I look at the back, bro, there's a telephone line plugged into the back of this box. And I am just like, oh my God, bro. I've been transported back to 1999 and I have telephone internet access here. Yeah, this is the best that this house can do. It's, 6 down and 0.5 up. And if you know anything about internets, you know that that is not good. It's been a complete well, Portland is what it is, man. Portland is
that is incredible.
It is down bad, bro. Down terrible. So that's my adventure.
Well, we have an awesome guest who, we've known actually for a little while, since the historical NFT days, a 2018 artist, our homie Gordon, who etched "Art is the Ticker" with a clean 10,000 number ticker. The degens, including myself, absolutely love it. I managed to max mint a few last night as I saw it was about to mint out. So first, congratulations, Gordon. And second off, GM, bro, how you feeling?
Good morning. Definitely not much sleep this night. So still kind of being in that space between, being awake and asleep. But man, it's surreal what happened last night. I'm really, really happy. And I'm also happy you managed to mint a couple of them towards the end, because it went parabolic. Just the momentum at the end was insane. So yeah, I know a couple of people who couldn't actually mint it at the end, but yeah, congrats and thank you to everybody who did.
Well, I mean, just because I was familiar with you and a clean ticker, and you're an artist, and it was actually the opposite of what you see all the other tickers that have the word ticker in it. It's usually the ticker is blank, but you did "Art is the Ticker." So a little bit of unique twist on this. I know there was an 8% pre-mine, which, from an artist perspective, right, that I guess you could say is similar to something of a royalty. So that was, a little bit more suitable, I think, for people to max mint, right? Because it's going to an artist and not somebody who's just deploying a meme coin. Would you like to give us a little bit of an explanation first on, somebody who's been an artist now on multiple chains? What did you find attractive about runes to try and mint something, and then also manage to get a clean 10,000? Was that just sheer luck?
Actually, the 10,000 number is also kind of part of the concept behind the artworks. But maybe I can first just give a bit of background, just for maybe people who
please
kind of don't know who I am. Yeah, so basically, I've been kind of living a double life for over a decade now. One is actually being kind of very deeply immersed and involved with blockchain technology. And my other life was actually creating very traditional fine art since I was really young. So basically, on my blockchain side of my life, growing up, I had a best friend, and we were best friends since we were like 7 years old, who was kind of a white hat hacker. So we were completely opposite. I was always into art, into adventures, and he was just programming since he was like 5 years old. So eventually we started together to just kind of explore certain like when Bluetooth came out, phones with Bluetooth, we started like playing with that and kind of hacking them for fun. And then we just realized that we actually work really well together. Me from the creative side and him more from the technical side. So long story short, in 2011, he told me about Bitcoin in late 2011. And I started to research and learn more and more about it. And the more I read and learned about Bitcoin, the more I became fascinated about the future possibilities that this can have for, governance, decentralization, and just in general, ownership of the digital world, And this led me to kind of really go down the rabbit hole of going down these forums and just get educated and learn. And then after a couple of months of that, I came back to my friend and I was like, man, if this is what we think it is, if this is really going to revolutionize kind of how we own digital things, and is kind of providing this missing block of decentralized ownership in the digital world, then we should contribute something to it. So in 2012, we then kind of started running a mining operation together. And we were teenagers at the time, so we had to, it was a crazy adventure. Like, we had to find investors, and we had to do that. So that was kind of one part of my day, was just running this mining operation with him. And for remaining 8 hours, I was going to the most traditional art school and creating physical art, like literally sculptures, paintings, just very, very, very traditional artworks. And I also did digital art. And then in 2012, most of you know Namecoin. I kind of started researching Namecoin, and I realized that something unique as a domain name can be kind of encapsulated on the blockchain. And then I thought that was the first time I had this epiphany moment of oh wow, we can actually. I guess the term is non-fungible, but at the time I didn't know that. So I then realized, wow, we can actually have something unique and use blockchain to kind of encapsulate it and actually have it be owned. And then I immediately realized it's just a matter of time before other digital media gets encapsulated on the blockchain. And that's kind of when I started to really research all of kind of any project that had to do anything with art and blockchain. And at the time there wasn't too many. There was later colored coins, then Counterparty, and then eventually I moved to London, and then got to know a couple of people from the early Ethereum community there. And as we started talking about smart contracts and these new capabilities that back then were not explored at all, I realized, damn, this is actually how we could use this for something like generative art or just in some capacity creating what are today NFTs. So then I kind of started to be this kind of a black sheep on all of these conferences and events with all of these developers as an artist. And I was always talking about art and how it's important and how we need to onboard more artists and just creativity in the space, because that's really what is kind of the gateway drug for a larger group of people later who are maybe less technical to actually care about what we're building here and care maybe about some of these deeper, more impactful concepts. So after a while, people kind of knew that was something I was really passionate about and always kind of promoting and pushing. And slowly people started to recommend me other people that were also very interested in kind of merging art and blockchain. And that then kind of in the 2017, there was this little group of maybe 30, 40 people that it was kind of this decentralized little group of people who kind of we know of each other, but you're very also sometimes geographically far away, who are kind of experimenting with these things, for example, founders of CryptoPunks, Art Gnome, Jason Bailey, founders of Super Rare, and a couple of other people. And we were all kind of in contact and just kind of sharing ideas and exploring this new frontier of how can we actually, put digital artworks on the blockchain. And anyway, long story short, I ended up kind of helping a bit Super Rare in the early days, and then that kind of led to me being one of the early people to actually mint there in 2018, next to Xcopy and all of these other amazing artists. And as soon as I did that, I realized, wow, this is starting a new movement of digital arts and blockchain merging. And this is completely going to revolutionize all digitally based media, especially artworks that are creating anything that has to do with that medium. And then I kind of felt I really wanted to share this with as many people as possible and to really kind of, help impact them in a positive way just by sharing this new world that was being created. And then maybe next time I'll tell you, but there was this crazy story how I managed to at the end get a TED Talk at the Museum of London in 2018. And then I kind of shared my thoughts about NFTs and the future of art and blockchain. So that's kind of how it started, and then actually one of the main things that happened then was at this point, I gave this presentation. I was like, okay, I'm going to give this presentation, and you can check it out on YouTube. If you just type my name and TED Talk or crypto art. So I make it very simple. I make it very you know, understandable, like very, you know, just I didn't use any complicated terms. And then I realized that after my talk, I expected everybody would be like, wow, this is amazing, this is the future. But most of the people actually thought, there's no way this is ever going to work. Like, why would we ever collect digital art? Oh, it's just, there's no value in that. We can just copy paste it. And that was the feedback after me giving this like presentation and really putting my all into it. You know? It felt like, you know, slightly heartbroken. I was like, fuck.
Bro, it's still the feedback.
That's crazy. But at least there's a bit more, you know, bit more people understanding it now, and you know, I'm really optimistic for the future in that sense. But honestly, that moment, that kind of like a bit of a, you know, painful realization of like, damn, like this is going to be way more difficult than I thought, actually inspired me to really think, how can I use my art and my artistic practice to communicate and explore some of these concepts that I find fascinating and very impactful for the time, you know, that we're living in. So from that point on, I kind of decided, okay, let me pick every year a couple of topics or one topic and really artistically explore it and communicate it and just kind of highlight what I really find interesting and fascinating here. And since that day, pretty much, I kind of every year did one series that kind of documents the moment in time we're in and really kind of shows the evolution of our crypto community and shows, you know, kind of really the culture and the capabilities and just the moment in time and the mindset of what's going on around us. So that led me then in 2018 to actually, with a couple of friends from Decenter, which is an amazing group of programmers, to work on cryptographics, which was the kind of the first generative art platform in 2018. And then I decided, once we created a couple of these artworks, to actually materialize them and to make a physical exhibition. Essentially, to just summarize it, basically I generated a digital artwork, and then I kind of created a 3D model based on it, and then I brought it to physical reality. And then I created a bunch of physical copies of it. Like, imagine just 3D printing it a lot of times, or just imagine like 10 physical copies of 3D prints. And I had this exhibition, and man, the feedback from everybody that went to that exhibition, called Solidity, everybody said to me, wow, I actually get it now. I get how this digital artwork, from which all of these physical artworks are derived, actually is unique and valuable, and what's the role of blockchain. So that was the moment when I realized that art is one of the most powerful communicators, especially for these abstract concepts. Because, you know, my TED Talk didn't help some of those people in the early days to understand it, but them seeing my artwork really helped them to understand what was happening there. It helped them to really kind of later get involved in the space and just to kind of start thinking about those ideas. And that's something that I think is very powerful, and it is the most important role that we as artists can do in this community and ecosystem. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of kind of my journey.
Wow, I have to say, quite a long journey. I mean, again, we became familiar with each other last cycle during the historical NFT day because you had created art back in 2018 when not many people were really around, and it was a small and tight-knit community of now, you know, quite successful artists. My question here would be leading into, you know, you've explored Bitcoin, and this is again like another evolution of, you know, art through fungible tokens. What can you share with us about the plans of this token? Is it going to be something that we're starting to see some other I guess artists do, where they'll create a meme coin and then release art and denominate it in their meme coin? Or do you have something a little bit different from the current trend?
Yeah, so to kind of get back now to runes, you know, I see runes and ordinals as a really impactful new medium, and you know, I really believe that I really believe that there's going to be a huge it just makes sense that art is created on Bitcoin and uses Bitcoin as a medium because of all of the benefits associated with that. So I think thinking about how we can actually use these mediums on a deeper level is something that really fascinates me. Like, for example, for ordinals, it's kind of like, okay, how can I'm currently experimenting with like some parent-child capabilities for like collection, for a whole collection, and all of these other things that are like just possible using Bitcoin as a medium. So in the same fashion, I started to really think about runes and how can I kind of explore it artistically, and what are some of the ideas and concepts that I really want to highlight or kind of comment here. So as you know, the first 2 days of runes launching, I was like probably everybody just going through all of the tickers that got etched, and I started to really think, how can I create a ticker that really represents this movement of art on Bitcoin, and art kind of slowly gaining more and more traction in the ordinals ecosystem, and maybe soon in the runes ecosystem. So I really started to think, okay, since this is a fungible token, there's like a couple of possibilities I could do. Obviously, like one of the things that I'm also thinking about is like, how can you maybe associate it with unique inscriptions and then have like runes that in some way are connected to that artwork. But then I started, as I was thinking about all of these ideas, I really started to kind of think, okay, what's the essence of all of that? Like, let's not complicate things like too much. Let's just really think, how can we create? I really actually just started to think, like, can this rune actually be an artwork on its own, and can it be literally an artwork that kind of represents this movement and kind of represents this moment in history, And then I started to think, okay, what would be very important there? And I realized, a couple of things. One would be like that I get an amazing to manage to secure, like, for example, amazing rune number. Like 10K for me has a huge, symbolic representation of kind of, so many things and milestones and crypto and just in general art and obviously digital collectibles. And then I started thinking, okay, how can we kind of create an artwork where the art is the actual market, So I started to kind of question these ideas of, okay, what is the worth of art? So, I realized that the best way to kind of do that is to create an artwork, which would be a rune that's like freely mintable. Anybody can mint it. And then it kind of becomes this almost like interactive performance where, these units of the rune are exchanging pieces, are ending up on the market. And, it's a very playful and artistic way to kind of approach value and to approach some of these concepts of, like maybe, speculation or just more art on Bitcoin, and like what it means to kind of use a very financialized medium for your practice as an artist. And that's kind of how that was kind of like the backing of kind of how I started to really think about these ideas. So yeah, that's
now was this the first one you etched, or did you etch some others prior to making this one?
No, this was the first one. Yeah, because I really wanted to.
Oh wow, man!
Yeah, so it's my Genesis rune.
Wow,
yeah,
you really threaded the needle, man. Did you have when you were doing it? Did you obviously you were trying to time it? I tried to time it too, and mine ended up getting in like, I don't know, 40 or so after the 10K. Did you use any sort of strategy, or just kind of when you saw it getting close, you just pushed go and kind of prayed? Or did you have a strategy to it?
Oh, listen, I mean, one of those things where you can have a strategy, but you always need a large amounts of luck. So I feel like, I mean, I researched a lot. I really focused. I mean, that day I didn't really sleep like at all. Like for 24 hours, I was just like monitoring the mempool, like really thinking about the fees, looking at like how quickly runes were being etched, and just really being focused on getting it, and then just kind of creating kind of my optimal transaction. And just honestly, at that point, I also there's a large component also of obviously being lucky, but yeah, it was a combination of those two things, like, strategy and luck.
So it was fate.
yeah, man.
Art is fate, right? Is what I get out of this. I mean, I tried to, I etched a few and tried to time it as well. And every single time it was like 30 or 40 after what I wanted.
Yeah, mine too. I think I failed. You might have done what I did, Jake. I failed to use the high fees, and I think that was definitely a mistake. But yeah, I threw a bunch at it, and they all failed miserably. I didn't even get close, honestly. But it was funny when I first saw it on I was tracking the inscribed ones, saw the first 10K, and I think I tweeted out, something to the effect of like, of course it was this one. And then I think Skrilla hit me up and was like, oh yeah, it's funny. I was like, was that you? And then Gordon comes in and was like, might have been me. So that was pretty cool, seeing that happen. And yeah, just the interplay between the 10K and, like Gordon was just saying about, how interesting and important 10K is to the entire kind of NFT space, right? The punks and all the 10K movement is so powerful in crypto. Boy, it's just a great narrative, and really, really cool that you got it, man. Really appreciate it. And it just adds this kind of weight to it, which is pretty awesome. Actually pretty awesome for runes. I don't think we've really discussed it. They might have talked about it on the space last night with Tio and Leo, but I didn't hear that part. But if not, this needs to be discussed more, because it is really a cool thing happening on runes right now.
Well, there is a unique thing that we're seeing happen, and we talked about this multiple times over the last few weeks. There's multiple ways, or Bitcoiners have a history of trying to turn fungible assets into non-fungible items, right? It goes back to colored coins, counterparty, right? Atomicals, ordinals, and now people are trying it with runes. I've seen a few, or it's got to be at least 10 or 20 one-of-ones in there where people are trying to turn it into a single one, right? That's what they were doing on counterparty back in the day. And it seems like Gordon's taking a little bit of a more creative or unique route to it, right? You said that you're exploring different ways of trying to link ordinals to runes. Would you like to dive in a little bit deeper? So maybe we can explore a little bit of your creative mind on what are some initial ideas of how you try to turn the ticker into art?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just curious, maybe before we dive into that, I'm just curious, what were some of your thoughts initially when you saw art as the ticker, just kind of being inscribed and just later kind of minting? Like, what's something that kind of crossed your mind? What did you find interesting? Or, do you have any just thoughts or associations? I'm just curious to kind of see what you find about art as the ticker kind of captivating.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I just always get back to this thing about learning NFT history and crypto history in general, how artists have kind of done the interesting things that have kind of moved the entire space forward. And so runes is a very simple concept, right? It's like meme coins on Bitcoin, but we all know that the starting point and the end point are often very, very different. And so for me, it speaks to this idea that artists or creatives, just creative people, taking something that was meant for, in Rune's case, meme coins, and playing around with it and turning it to something different. To Jake's point earlier, is like, this is how everything gets done in crypto. And so, I just thought it was fitting.
Yeah, I would say for me, I've been kind of watching the first 10K and looking for trends. And I actually just posted, or pinned to the top, I just put out my research in the top 10K runes and how many of them are identifiable with a team or with a meme coin or with a project. So if anyone wants to give that some love, please do that and retweet so everyone could see. Gordon, you are included at the very bottom of it. But one thing I started to notice twofold is the first like 2000 or so are generally mostly like infrastructure companies or teams who've been building on ordinals for quite some time. And then after 2000, you do have infrastructure companies, but it starts becoming more about individual artists, individual creators starting to kind of, and like ordinal community starting to put their name in the first 10K so that, you know, they have a token. But with art as a ticker, obviously number 10,000 is clean. You have a history, and looking it to me, it feels something different, because the only other art that I'd seen in the top 10K were people who were trying to do or mint one of one art pieces. I saw there was like a Pups Cash, which was like one. I know Ray Skrilla did one with DJ Pepe. And but this seems like it was focused towards like the artist community, which is still quite small. And on the ordinal side, it's also quite small. So to me, it was more of like, I guess you could say a bet, but also supporting you as trying to build an artist community on Bitcoin through runes, whereas the previous artists had all tried to do it through ordinals, right? Because it's an NFT. So to me, it felt very unique in a way, because you also have been in the space for 6 years. So you have a little bit more of a fundamental understanding of what's required, but also you have a strong network.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly the point here. It really is. I mean, first of all, it's an artwork, but then again, also this fungible artwork, you know, as a side effect, it is to actually create this community of people who believe in this movement of art on ordinals and runes, and to really kind of create this just strong group of people who really identify as you know, people who really support artists, or people who really are artists and creating art and experimenting, you know, in this very, very cutting edge now environment, which is very, just I really respect anybody who's kind of currently here and engaging with this ecosystem and just really pushing the boundaries in any way. So yeah, it is definitely something that kind of, first off, you know, it's an artwork that kind of deals with, you know, network effects that are created with fungible tokens, and you know, and then obviously kind of the whole market dynamics and value. But then also another part of the artwork is that every person that owns art is the ticker rune kind of owns a part of this larger piece that we all are a part of. So, you know, anybody kind of owns a piece of the artwork, but then again is also part of something way bigger, which is exactly how I feel, you know, we are here, especially in kind of a specific community like runes and ordinals.
Yeah, I completely agree. Dogfather, thank you for waiting patiently. What's your thoughts on the art as a ticker, and do you have any questions for Gordon?
Hey, GM. Yeah, I mean, first props to Gordon. I mean, it's so cool to see like a proper artist with a cool ticker with some artwork attached scoring the 10K. I mean, we know from ordinals inscriptions very often, I mean, most often, the cool numbers are just taken by some soulless BRC20, which is kind of like a pity, you know? I mean, you can try everything, but if someone's just having a 1K badge inscription with BRC20s, I mean, it's more likely that they get it, and not the cool stuff. So yeah, really amazing. I mean, Karma was on our side, you know, this time. So really great. I mean, everyone who made it in the 10K, really congrats. I just add 2. I mean, it's super nice to have, you know, the early people, and I think in a few years everyone will say like, it was so obvious in hindsight. Why didn't we edge more, and why didn't we edge this and that? But you know, you have to be around when stuff is dropping, and not like a year later. So awesome. I mean, also Gordon, I mean, I love these OGs, you know, staying and experimenting, and this is just the right attitude. Awesome.
Yeah. So a few stats about art as the ticker. So it's 21 million supply. There's currently 857 holders. There was 19,320,000 mints. There was a pre-mine, it looks like, of about 8%. And outside of Gordon, so Gordon owns 8% of the supply. And then the next 4, I guess, to make out the top 5 is 4.7%, 2.3%, 1.5, and 1.1. So distribution's is quite good for, I guess, the amount of holders. Generally, some of these mints can get quite skewed, where you have like a few hundred people minting out the entire supply. Gordon, would you like to give a little bit of an explanation, just what you're comfortable with of the pre-mine? Because historically, the majority of these mints are all free and fair mints. At least that's the successful ones that we had seen so far. Obviously, you're an artist, so this would be more considerable about a team allocation. Are there any plans to do anything with the pre-mine, or just at least give us some of your thoughts surrounding that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so the pre-mine, there is plans, but I cannot disclose yet about regarding what will happen with that. But definitely for now, it's kind of like you said, for any artwork there would be some sort of like royalty, and these 8% was kind of more in that fashion, kind of pre-mined, and and just kind of allocated for just kind of like future developments of the project, and a couple of other exciting things that we have cooking. So yeah, it's
one thing with Luminex, and tell me if I'm the only one, but why don't they just have where you can type in a percentage? Like, I find myself trying to like figure out how to do a percentage, like taking the number and like having to use a calculator to try and why don't they just do it by percentage? It's crazy. Like you put in the wrong 0 and suddenly you've got the whole supply or no supply. It's like, I don't know. It just seemed like an easy thing they could have done. Just put like a percentage. I don't know.
Yeah, I was supposed to help a friend to etch like a rune with 88,888
Oh God.
runes, and it was a nightmare to calculate like what are the batches per mints, then what's the pre-mine. It was insane. At the end, he was just like, fuck it, let's just do like 1 million for this thing. So, yeah, I totally feel you there.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody else was struggling with that besides me. Smooth brain over here. But yeah, congrats again, man. It's awesome. Super psyched you got this. Just feel like Dogfather just said, just feels right that an artist got it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, I'm really, really grateful for it. I'm curious, what are your thoughts regarding the 21 million supply? Do you have any thoughts regarding that? Would you prefer if it was like larger or smaller? Just curious, as to hear your thoughts.
I would say it's pretty standard. Domo is the one who really kind of started this. He did, I think it was 21 million, where you could mint 100 at a time. And so you had a little bit of a higher one, right? Because you did, was it 1,000 you did per? So it would have taken about 20,000 mints to mint out. This is kind of how I look at it, is you have either like the general standard is to just have 10,000 mints because it mimics somewhat of a 10K. So with a little bit of like 20,000 mints, you get a little bit of a larger community around it. It could be a little bit more distributed, or sometimes on the other side, it becomes more concentrated, because if you have one whale who's a real big believer in you, they just max mint it until it's fully minted out. I think it's pretty standard. I would say the majority of them are 21 million. So it's nothing, and it attributes, it's attributed to Bitcoin. So it's very centric within the culture. I don't know, Adam, if you had any other thoughts on it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'll pin mine up top. Yesterday, I did a mint for to raise some funds, hopefully for the defense of the guys at Samurai Wallet who got arrested yesterday. And so I did, privacy is a right. I launched one. And I was like, geez, I don't even know what to do. I settled on like 2,000 mints. I didn't even know, the 10K does make sense. But in the same way, you want it to mint out too, right? You don't want it sitting there. I don't know. I think you're probably right on there, Jake, with the 10K just creates that has that ability to create a community around it. Obviously, I think Gordon's minted out pretty quick, so it's like, of course, whales got in there. I mean, it's just people are aping at this stuff. I'm actually kind of surprised it hasn't taken off more on the secondary. Honestly, I'll probably pick up some on the secondary now that I see it. As what 250,000 market cap right now still seems very reasonable. For what could hold. I mean, of course, most of these meme coins are simply, quick rise and then fall to zero. But when you look at this one, it seems like this might have, some significant legs. If this meme coin season continues for the next, 6 months or a year, this has like a cool story behind it. It's far more than just the name of the ticker. It's got this like, again, like this weight behind it, which feels really good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for those kind words. Yeah, especially I'm like talking with many artists and many other people who are experimenting, and we're really planning to kind of just also think how can we kind of create some sort of like a community of creators and artists that are really kind of exploring with all of these things as a medium. So I think in that sense, it's also something that could just kind of grow as time goes, and more artists enter the space and we create more interesting artworks. This is kind of, I feel like Rune that kind of represents that whole movement, and really just something that could connect all of us.
Dogfather, do you have your hand up, or do you put it down? I thought I saw your hand up. Maybe not. We'll go over to Hooked on Roonies, man. Good to have you back.
Oh, hey guys, it's Dr. Papa again. I'm a big fan of art, and I think most of you guys are too. Art is where it's at. And I may not be a major player like our friend Gordy over there, but I do have some installations at restrooms inside the. I have an exhibition right up and down 95. If you drive 95 and you see some fancy art inside the bathroom stalls, that's me.
That's you? Wait, that's you? I didn't realize that was you, man. I love your stuff. Always been a big fan, bro.
Thank you. I love when I'm sitting around with nothing to do. I love doodling, and it's a good time. And our Rune has a significant. Our number isn't 10,000. It's 1,035, and that's significant because if you go off exit 135, 1,035, you might find some surprises inside that rest stop exhibition show. There may be some fun to be had there. So definitely, I'm a big fan of art. Good job. I don't mean to make light of your excellent work and all of your accomplishments. So good job. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. Hooked on Roonies. It's always good to talk with you.
He's my
Gordon.
new favorite guy, other than that kid who used to come on and just screech at us. That was my favorite of all time. But Hooked is pretty good too.
Gordon, what's your consensus around the artist community on Bitcoin versus Ethereum? Do you see any main disparities between the two communities? And one additional question would be, what are some aspects of the Bitcoin artist community that you like?
Yeah, so to be completely honest with you, I think we're just in really early days where so many of the artists on Ethereum still didn't really even have a chance yet to really kind of educate themselves or just kind of learn about what it means to kind of use Bitcoin as a medium and what it kind of gives you, what are some of the benefits it affords you. So I feel like as time progresses, especially I think this year with kind of all of these developments happening, even I'm speaking with more and more of my artist friends and just kind of like sharing just so many things about this ecosystem, and a lot of them actually, once they kind of feel like they understand a bit what's happening. They really want to kind of get involved and engaged in the ecosystem. So I feel at the moment it's too early to really kind of judge, because I think in many cases a lot of these artists would maybe even use Bitcoin as a medium and kind of create their art here if they kind of felt a bit just if they get slowly just kind of familiar with a new environment, which I think a lot of people are now slowly doing. So that's why I also think there's going to be a really, really interesting kind of fine art renaissance happening here. And it already kind of began, I kind of think in a major way from maybe like January this year, and we can really kind of feel it. And I really think that's kind of how things are going to progress in the next upcoming 2 years. I think more and more artists are going to start engaging and using ordinals, runes, or who knows, maybe something else that comes. And yeah, I'm really, really curious to kind of see all of the creative experimentation and just how people really dive into kind of fundamentals of what it means to create art here, and then how they kind of highlight it and just share in the world their projects that later kind of just help other people to understand what we're doing here and building. So yeah, that's kind of currently my thoughts about it. What was the second question? Remind me, please.
Are there any aspects of the Bitcoin art scene that you prefer over the Ethereum one, or the technicals?
I mean, that's a good question. There's definitely, I mean, at least maybe I'm just lucky to have really, really amazing people from the Bitcoin space so far to interact with them. But people are very, very, very welcoming, very just cool, down to earth people who are just completely like mostly what I experienced was just like no ego, just talking about cool ideas. A couple of times I was just chatting with somebody on DMs, and we were just like, oh, let's hop on a call like in 2 days, and then we would hop on a call and then talk about all of these amazing trends and yeah, just very, very, very just beautiful experience kind of being in this ecosystem and building. And I kind of didn't really feel that as much in the maybe last years in Ethereum. So that's maybe something that's, then again, maybe it's just a personal experience, but I definitely feel like I heard it from a couple of other friends that kind of have that experience. So that's maybe kind of the main just kind of vibe difference that I experienced. But but there's still amazing things happening in the Ethereum ecosystem, and I'm very, very still, involved and, active and just very, very supportive of what's happening there. But currently I'm just I just think Bitcoin is really, 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 really something that's impactful, and I would just like to really contribute to it and just onboard and create amazing art on it. And that's kind of my focus at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Gamma's turned out to be the place for artists to go to, at least to get onboarded. You can do auditions, and they'll help pioneer your way or navigate through the scene. We also know Super Rare has announced that they're also, I think, collaborating or official partners with Gamma to come in and try to provide their art experience from ETH on Bitcoin. I'm assuming, though, in a little bit more of a unique manner. What's up, Dogfather? What do you think?
Yeah. I just wanted to say also I mean it's not maybe as known, but I'm actually one of the 5 people on the council for Super Rare.
Oh wow.
So I'm really, really kind of always excited when these discussions come behind kind of closed doors, and I'm very, very excited about kind of this future of potentially Super Rare maybe even being involved with Bitcoin in some way. So we'll see. It's too early to tell, but definitely their partnership with Gamma is something that kind of shows the willingness to experiment and to kind of open up these new ecosystems and really to bridge and show a lot of these artists that are maybe unfamiliar with the Bitcoin ecosystem that, wow, actually if a brand like Super Rare that they trust is doing ordinals, then it really helps, I think, just broaden awareness and really helps a lot of these artists that maybe weren't exposed to that ecosystem to really start learning and slowly diving in. So I mean, I've been getting way more messages about Bitcoin and ordinals in the last month, since Super did that collaboration before probably any month earlier. So yeah, I think these collaborations are really important, and I just think they really help artists just kind of realize there's something exciting happening. And then the education part, that's obviously something that's a bit of a friction still, but I'm sure that even that will be better and better through time.
What's up, Dogfather?
Oh, it's pretty amazing. I haven't heard about the super rare collab with Gamma. I mean, we were always speculating that, honestly, that inscriptions are ideal for high value one-on-ones, and now this may turn reality. I mean, this is pretty amazing. I mean, even though Gamma was mostly known for their prints, but still they were like closest to what super rare was doing on ETH. So wow, this is so cool. And also, Gordon, that you're involved. I mean, this is definitely something to watch out. Maybe if you can pin the tweet. I haven't heard about that, and I'm pretty active, I think, in the space. Maybe you can pin that. That would be super cool. And then coming back to the question with the with the mint details and the numbers and the supply. So I think you did exactly what Domo did with Audi. So like 20 million supply and 1,000 max mint. So we're just following the classical rules. We have seen that also with with some of the top 10 or sub 10K runes. So one was meme economics that was exactly the same, 21 mil and 1,000 mint. The problem with that scheme is that this is minting out relatively quickly, and you have you don't have a chance to have a large holder base. So in difference to that, Satoshi Nakamoto was just having 100 max mint. And so they were able to achieve way higher holder number. And this is basically then the community that is, that's your army, right? That's the one that are propagating your token. So this is also why Satoshi Nakamoto is doing quite well. Of course, they also have, I think, the better ticker. But they also have, like, from the beginning, they had this massive holder count of up to 20K, which is like, which was unprecedented until the huge projects drop. But of course, I mean, at the beginning, if you add your first rune, you may not reach for the stars and try to have 10,000 people being interested in you. You're already happy, like if you have 1,000 people who are interested in your art. So I think for an art project that's also cool. But for everyone who are here or listening to the recording, if you really want to be a broad meme coin, probably a higher number of mints that are required to mint out, will help you more right from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm really surprised nobody's tried to do a Sats like mint out yet with just like an abnormal amount of mints. I'm sure it'll come at some point, but I'm really surprised nobody hasn't. What's up, Chris? How you doing, Mr. Coffee Man?
Yo, GM, Jake, I loved your post today about 35 minutes ago. Thanks. About the list. That was awesome. Also, like, I'm ADHD, so when there's like a big list, I usually like either start from the bottom or like I skip the middle. So I read it weird. And guess what I get if I start from the bottom of that list? I get art as the ticker. That's the first one. It stands out more than like something at the bottom. Jokes aside, I was really excited on art as a ticker. I was chilling in Discord. Some people said I was minting out. I kind of like just didn't pay attention. And then like I saw that it was like that clean like rune 10,000. I saw that there's an actual artist behind it. And I think like that makes it like unique enough. And so yeah, I bought on secondary last night and just like immediately like got super excited about it. So yeah, that's awesome. I probably missed this because I came in like probably the last like 30% of the space. So I'm sorry for like asking you guys to repeat this. But what is the thought of, and it doesn't have to be anything, like I'm a big believer of like memes or tokens, like you don't have to do stuff if you don't want to, but like is there any sort of like blend of like art and mixed with that runes like that you're thinking of? Like how do you blend like runes and art, I guess would be my question. I did hear the part where it's kind of like there's one big piece and we all own part of that piece. Well, I can't quite wrap my head around that, but is that kind of the thought behind it, or?
The market is the artwork.
Dive in a little bit more. Give me a little bit brief from earlier.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, there's a couple of aspects, but basically, you could say that artist, the ticker, kind of first off represents this moment in history and represents art on Bitcoin and ordinals. It kind of really wants to kind of encapsulate and just really kind of create something that is bigger than any one of us, but it's kind of represents this community of people creating and collecting art and just kind of engaging with ordinals and runes. So it's kind of this, almost like a community of people very interested and supportive of art on Bitcoin. So that's one aspect. And the other aspect is kind of the whole concept of network effects and kind of questioning what is the worth of art, and kind of having this as once. So this rune and every single piece of it is every piece is kind of like a fraction of a whole artwork. So every people kind of owns the artwork, but then they don't really own the whole artwork, but they do also in a way. It's more about this kind of network effect that is created on the blockchain between all of these holders, and and kind of how the value of this artwork kind of fluctuates and what happens there. So it's kind of a very interactive and kind of almost ever-changing performative artwork, where it's in a playful way approaches a lot of these dynamics that we can kind of see in this ecosystem. So in that sense, the artwork is the market, and the network effect created by this rune. But the actual rune and every piece of it is those are all pieces of this larger artwork, which is the actual network of holders and the community that's kind of created within that network.
Yeah, I actually think runes are very, very much like editions. I mean, it just has that sort of feel, and I think artists can begin playing around with it in the same way that they did on Counterparty, where you have this, like, you can produce one piece of art and then you do the tokens, and it just has the kind of edition vibe to it. But this is where experimentation comes in, and where the market has to decide if it likes these as editions or it prefers the ordinal style of editions. It's going to be interesting to see how the market kind of feels this out over time. Go ahead, Hook.
Well, yeah, I'm back. It's Dr. Popper. I'm sorry, I had to drop off a second. Some gentleman had a rash on his inner thigh at the rest stop. And he tricked me. There was no rash. At the rest stop. Those guys are out to get me sometimes, I think. But I'm just trying to treat people for their poor pains. And if they're suffering from poor pains, I want to help. That's what I'm here for. But some of the things that we're looking at for associating runes with art, it's like if you hold certain amount of runes, maybe you get a different colorway or a limited edition. There's a lot of functionality in these runes that's pretty special that we can get into. It's an interesting space. Balance, unlocks, version, colorways, base, etc. Runes, man. Oh, there's a lot of room to cook with runes. I'm just telling you that. It's gonna be pretty special. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on anybody.
A lot of room to cook for sure. Chris, actually, have you seen anything interesting? Because you're pretty connected here. Any other kind of artists doing anything interesting or different on runes that kind of caught your eye?
No, I haven't, honestly. And other than
Sure.
the projects that you named on your list, I also just haven't seen a lot of creativity on runes, honestly. There's a handful, obviously, and then all the projects that were already in the space. But I was kind of hoping to find more very unique and creative tickers, And there's a couple out there, but in the top 10,000, there's not been a lot that I'm just oh man, that I have a lot of conviction in that, whether it's art or whether it's lore or utility or any direction you want tokens to go. They're out there, but I mean, it's unless you already are familiar with the projects, I've at this point, it is the right word. I haven't had the conviction to be oh yeah, that's it. And honestly, that's what I did with art last night. Was I had the conviction of this just makes sense. It's on the clean 10,000 rune. I haven't had conviction like this in a project I didn't previously know. Like I obviously like people that I know, like really excited about Prometheans with Cyberkongs, real dog go to the moon, like all those are obvious. But with like a random one, just kind of scrolling and seeing it, it's like, you know, that caught my eye. The story made sense, and so it's kind of like everything just kind of lined up for me of like conviction. So yeah, that's when I joined. But yeah, I haven't seen art mixed in. I'm interested to see like the creativity that people have, because I know there's going to be a lot of like tools and development with runes, obviously. So I'm sure there's gonna be some like really cool things that like people can do in the future if they want to. And I could always see like artists, like I'm not pushing this on Gordon or any artist, but I could always see it similar to holding an NFT project, where if they ever wanted to distribute their art to like token holders, like I could see that as like a very possible thing in the future. It's, you know, kind of similar how people like distribute ordinals. Like there's so many possibilities, you know, even doing like a 1-of-1 piece and maybe like one token holder gets it or something. Again, not pushing that narrative at all. Just like just saying there's a lot of space to like look at.
Yeah. So there's been, I think in the top 10, there's a collection of 10 1-of-1s that are basically I think they're rare puppets. So it's like Rare Pepe, but for puppets. Skrilla is also doing a 1-of-1, or he at least etched a 1-of-1 for DJ Pepe. And I think the auction or the mint happens in like a few blocks or maybe tomorrow. So he's playing around, right? 1-of-1 art, but with like an interesting distribution kind of.
I want to say it's like one block. Like you have one block to try and grab the Skrilla 1-of-1. Yeah, it's like some crazy
something like that, right? And I think we saw Elok or one of the guys was talking about a recursive endpoint, right, which makes ordinals aware of runes, where you can basically put a balance of a rune on an ordinal, right? So there will be these like new or these upgrades to the protocol that will allow you to, you know, kind of cross-pollinate both of these in some capacity. I think that's where the real creativity happens.
I know I just shouldn't jump in like this, but you need to check out the pull request number 3654, because that's got some information you might be interested.
Tell us what is it?
I don't even know how to do that, so you're gonna have to tell us. I don't know about no pull request.
Well, man. it's on GitHub.
Tell us.
Ain't nobody goes on GitHub, bro. You're in crypto's Twitter Spaces, man. Nobody got time for GitHub over here.
I know, but there's a few different hub sites that I'm.
Oh my god, dude!
This one right here. This one is GitHub, not the other one. You go to github.com/ordinals/ord/pool number 3654, and then you're gonna find some endpoints and some other very interesting things that might add some functionality to your runes. You get those runes popping. And then all of a sudden, these artists out here doing special things that make everybody forget all about your poor pains. Okay, let's get rid of the poor pains. Art's a great way to do it.
All right, so if you're an artist, you can DM Hook. Hook will walk you through all the endpoint stuff. Let's go to Art Jedi. What's up?
Hello. I've forgotten what I came here to say. I'm completely lost.
So wait, how many runes have you etched so far, Art Jedi?
So yeah, that's what I came here to share. So Gordon, on Tuesday, we host spaces. I host spaces with Empress Trash and Bit Savage to educate each artist or any artists to learn a little bit about ordinals, BRC20, or runes, and pretty much like what's happening on the Bitcoin ecosystem for artists, that kind of a thing. And I did a live demo of going on to the site and like going through the whole etching rune thing, and I just couldn't work out the percentage, Adam, that you were saying earlier.
Sure.
I couldn't work it out. Like I was gonna etch mine on that exactly at that time, and I was gonna have art in the ticker as well, but not art is the ticker, but art is like in my name, so I was gonna do something with art. I'm not gonna say what it is because I might still do it.
Sure.
But that would have been obviously not clean 10K, but I'm so excited to see what's happening here with Gordon's collection. And yeah, I just came here to congratulate, and I would really love to get in touch and, I don't know, pave the way for artists, have conversations. And I don't know if you're in London. Are you in London?
Not at the moment. I used to live there, but no, now I'm kind of a global homeless guy, very nomadic.
There we go.
Distributed.
I'm heading that way. I'm literally packing up all my belongings to go nomadic way for this year. But anyway, there might be more. Do you think it's too late now to do anything?
No, not at
like
all.
Not 10K anymore.
No, don't make that mistake. No.
10K is just a vanity metric for the degens.
Yeah, you're not too late. You're not too late. There's no too late. A lot of us, myself included, made that mistake with ordinals. You're not too late. Do something interesting, cool, new, innovative, anything. Do something that just you vibe with. And who knows where it goes. Put yourself out there. Absolutely.
When you're
too early, if anything.
Popping runes, you're right on time wherever you go.
That's
okay.
Right.
What's up, Patches?
Hey, how you guys doing?
That's good, bro. Good to see you.
It is good. It has been a wild ride in the HBAR space the last 24 hours.
Are you guys putting out false news, man? I hate to see it, Patches. I mean,
it's wild.
If any of you missed it, well, go ahead. Give the quick overview of what's happening over there. I saw across my timeline, and there was quite a bit of angst on the timeline once I dug in.
Yeah, so the press release that was trying to be given to Cointelegraph, and the quotes and ability to interview people was handed off, and Cointelegraph decided to not do any of that. And then there's a nuance that people are pulling apart. The end result is assets that are BlackRock assets, that are RWAs, are being tokenized on Hedera through a partner that is accredited in the UK to do so. The BlackRock team signed off on a press release that the HBAR Foundation put out. And so all of that is valid. The reason that Cointelegraph just went and chose violence in the morning was that people were saying BlackRock chose Hedera. And what happened was the people who take and tokenize BlackRock's funds asked if they could use Hedera, and they said, yeah, sure. And so that nuance, it just caused this entire FUD wave, as I understand it. And if you just read the press release, that's true. There's a lot of great interviews. This is a great win for the space where, we had the assets of BlackRock tokenized on Ethereum, and within an hour, someone sent Tornado Cash to the wallet. Right. Thus making it really, really, not great for regulatory things like BlackRock. So they chose Hedera because there's something called token association, where you can't send tokens to an account unless you associate that token. So from an investment standpoint, an RWA standpoint, they felt safer putting it there. They being the people tokenizing the assets, which I think are Archax. I don't know how to say it. It's a made-up word, I think. ARCHAX. But it's really great for the space. It's saying that there's more diving into these RWAs that are being tokenized. But then it just this nuance of did BlackRock choose it, or was it done with BlackRock's knowledge? Became this whole thing.
Well, let's give for the people who have no idea what's going on. What this caused was when it was first announced, it caused a massive. What'd you have? 100% run up.
100% pump. Yeah.
100% pump in the native tokens price. Then it came out, this hit piece from whatever, CoinDesk or Cointelegraph, whatever, which then said BlackRock was had nothing to do with this, which wasn't fully true, and caused the price to crash again. Not the 100%, but 50% or whatever.
Honestly, you told me 3 days ago, hey, HBAR is going to pump 50%. I would have been happy, and you just didn't tell me how. But yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, again, I'm a cross-chain maxi. There's a lot of people that are coming out with knives for. I think it's just seeing success on chains that aren't theirs, which I hate to see it. I hate to see maximalism. It doesn't make any sense. I love this space because you guys are the same ethos as me, where it's if you're fighting chains, you're fighting each other before you grew the pie big enough to fight for a slice. Like
Totally,
you just
bro.
don't get it.
Totally. I mean, I yesterday with all the stuff that was happening with Samurai Wallet and those guys getting arrested, it's like, and to see crypto Twitter tearing itself apart about, who's the better chain and stuff. It's just, it's disheartening because we lose sight of like who the real battle is against. Right. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, let's get together. I mean, I was on a space last night. I honestly, I couldn't believe my ears, where people who, I'm connected with, follow in the space, like don't actually believe in privacy. And I'm like, wow,
I heard
God, we have so much work to do. Like
it's horrible.
The privacy and freedom, like, is not even for some of these people who are deep in the space. It doesn't make sense to them. I'm like, wow, we have a real battle on our hands here. If we can't even convince people in the space that privacy is needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
What two is convict? Oh, sorry.
No, go.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, what's up? I'm new to this room space. Like, I've been in ordinals like a couple months now. Like, I'm trying to etch my own meme coin, and I just need some advice. I don't know how to set the wallet where the funds go to, and I'm trying to find some new like people I can collaborate.
All right, bro. It's simple as pie, man. Go ahead, get yourself an Xverse wallet. You can get it on the App Store. Xverse wallet. Then go to luminex.io and you can etch your rune right there, man. It'll take you 5 minutes. All you got to do is get a little BTC in that wallet.
And how does it work? Like, if I
and then you're a millionaire, bro. Boom, just like that. Congratulations, welcome to the club.
I'm just new to this play. I'm just new to this rune protocol, and I don't want to waste my money on things I'm not really into. That's why I'm just trying to get.
Well, bro, you're gonna waste money. You're gonna burn money. You are going to lose. There's no way you cannot lose. You will lose. 100% guaranteed. You are going to lose your Bitcoin.
You gotta take some L's to win.
You gotta take some L's to get some W's, man. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, bro. Well, like, just a question: this Bitcoin with Hep and what's this? A Bichu? Are y'all related with them or
with who?
This Bitcoin with Hep and Bichu, the hamster. What's the name?
This Bitcoin with Hat, the person who's on stage is just like an account that's on stage.
Okay. I thought y'all was related because.
No, it's just a Bitcoin picture with a hat.
Okay. And Bichu? Y'all know Bichu?
I don't know what the other project is that you're referring to, but basically, as Adam said, just go on Xverse or download Xverse wallet, go on Luminex. It literally gives you an entire interface that shows how far along things are to be minting. If you're just here to ask about alpha or what to mint, I don't have that information for you.
No, I'm already.
But you do though. You have a whole list. Go and check Jake's tweet about the whole list.
I would say just follow
all the alphas there.
Yeah, follow everyone on stage.
My question is just if I use my wallet, like how does it work with the funds? That's what I don't understand. Because
it's super easy, man. Dude, you put a little Bitcoin in your wallet and then you can mint right there or etch your own. It's super easy. It's dead simple, man.
Yeah, it works the same as MetaMask, just with Bitcoin.
Yep.
I just don't want to lose money like that.
Bro, you're gonna lose money. I guarantee you. Come back in a week.
Yeah, sure.
I guarantee you will have lost money. There's zero question about that. You are going to lose money.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose money, 100%. It's just a
Start
question of how much.
Start with $100. If you're afraid to lose money, start with a very low amount. Start with $100.
Yep.
I think I'm liking this video. Like I just follow them. I'm checking them out. Like this. Okay. Y'all more familiar with that, right?
With what?
Look, man. Look. You got to understand. Even if we were like, this is the best thing in the world, and we love it, and we're married to it for the rest of our lives, that is not an endorsement that you should go do it, because we may be lying to you just to get you to buy it. So never trust any people on the spaces telling you that this is the thing or whatever. Bro, assume every person, 100% of people assume all of them, including Michael Saylor, is just trying to sell you a bag to make money off of you. So never trust anybody ever, anywhere on crypto Twitter who's telling you to buy something. You gotta, as we say, do your own research, look into it yourself, make your own informed decisions as best you can. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right, man. Good luck, brother.
Space. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Good luck. Report back in a week. Tell us how you did.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Go ahead. Hooked on Rooney's.
I'm sorry to keep bothering you guys, but with the privacy thing, I can confirm that Elizabeth Warren, she's a peeper. As I have mentioned, I have spent plenty of times at rest stops across the nation, and I've seen her more than once trying to peep into
She's
the
trying to
metaverse.
peep through those doors. I tell you, this is the one thing for those of you who are maybe live outside of the US and then you travel to the US. It is the most like weird thing about the United States is public bathrooms in the United States have a crack between doors. It's disturbing. Like everywhere else I go in the world, like when you go into a public bathroom, you can't see into the stalls. Only in the US do you get this like weird thing where you can peep, just like Hook just said, you know, Beth Warren looking and peeping in bathroom stalls. It's only in the US. I gotta say, US, we gotta fix this. It's a crime against humanity. You can peep in the
Unless
bathroom.
doesn't believe in privacy.
I'm just saying, you know, it might be that.
Hot breath is coming through that crack, and you're she's pressing her face up to your wallet, and she's trying to get her grubby little fingers in there.
Grubby little fingers.
Like, it's sticky honey. Sticky honey. She's trying to like.
Well, guys, look, this is true. U.S. maybe doesn't believe in privacy. I believe in privacy. If you guys grow up into the nest, scroll over one. It's already minted out, but I did that little fundraiser, so I'd like the price to go up. So when I finally make those donation of 10% of that supply to the Samurai Wallet guys, you know, I hope it's something more substantial than, you know, $5,000 or whatever, 10 grand it is right now. So that would be awesome if that got a little bit of traction. So anyway, did that yesterday, just trying to do, I mean, we talk about experimenting. I just did that one as a little experiment to see, you know, what kind of traction we could get. It minted out very quick. I probably set the number too low. I set it at like 2,000. It was sold out in like less than an hour. But anyway, any love you guys can give to that one, I appreciate it. Patches, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I gotta bounce in 12 minutes. But the reason I came on today was to announce something that I don't think has existed on any Inscription protocol in existence yet. That just came out for Hashnals yesterday.
Yeah, laid out.
Oh yeah. So we have created dynamic Hashnals, which allows you to remotely update the inscribed data onto a token that you hold. And I know that there's like parent-child relationships. This is a little bit different, where it has the provenance of all of the different things in the inscriptions, but it keeps the same inscription number. Mm-hmm. And the content that the user sees in their wallet just updates. So there has been
a little bit of that on ordinals. Okay. But yeah, it's very new. Actually, Derp, who we know from stamps and those sort of things, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but I think he did one that basically updates depending on like the new block and something to do with the blocks, and it changes. So you get these, right. He was calling it like dynamic ordinals basically, or something like that. So it's very few, but there have been a couple people playing around with that. So that's cool.
I do remember that now that you say that. Yeah, I think it was determined based on block height. It changed what was inscribed.
I think so, yeah.
So this is sort of like that, except the creator gets to decide when and what is updated, and it's not deterministic based on block height, but rather whenever you submit the new metadata.
So this could be an artist can update the work at any time kind of thing.
Yeah, so I'm a musician, and the way that I'm creating 1,000 hashnals that are singles or just jams that I have, and so every time I have a new single, I'm going to update the NFT, and because it's on Hedera, our HIP standard or our metadata standard allows you to have a files array. So when I release an album, I can have 10 different files, including background or like behind the scenes stuff, lyric sheet, and that's all in one owned NFT. And so when I release my music in this dynamic hashnals way, I'm going to take the previous new song and put it into the files array. So you'll have this lineage of every song I've ever created, along with a continually updating NFT that has new music from an artist.
Oh, that's cool. It's interesting because we kind of delved into this a lot on ETH NFTs, and there was this debate. Well, do you want it to be immutable? You know, if you're the holder, right? But I like that idea of you know, where you get to see kind of all versions as it comes through, and you know, the kind of holder can pick and choose what they want, so they never lose the you know, they never lose the old work, I guess you'd say.
Exactly.
That's an interesting dynamic. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited just because like we're at HCS 6, so this is the 6th standard we've set. We have a DAO called Hashgraph Online, and we're continually trying to build ways in which ordinals can eventually be enhanced when we have a bridge. So we're working on a bridge. I know I've talked to you about that. Jake doesn't have a right ear because that's all I did was talk his ear off for like 2 hours about this.
Dude, it's a great vision. It's gonna be tough, but it is a great vision.
We're getting closer. So I'm talking to more teams about the lockup of the asset, but the benefits are you take the metadata of an ordinal and you tie it onto the token, and you have royalties that are enforced by the network. And those two things alone, I think will, and you can buy and sell it in wrapped BTC. So I think that, along with bringing in extra dynamics like dynamic hashnals and having cross-chain recursion, where the data that you're actually referencing in a hashnal is 100% on-chain on Bitcoin, but the tokenization is just on a hash graph to get the user experience. There's a lot of really cool stuff we're building to make that when that bridge opens up, not only are you just like, okay, well now it's an ordinal but with better user experience, there's more functionality to it. You can have dynamic ordinals. You can buy and sell like hundreds at a time for 15 cents gas. We want to up the ante to make a huge value add for the friction of coming across that bridge.
I like that. I mean, the whole idea of ordinals is the permanence of the data being on Bitcoin, and as we know, right, the ownership layer of it is off chain, right? So it's like, because it's literally off chain because it's an indexer. This method is basically off chain, but using tokenization on another chain. So it's technically off the Bitcoin chain, but it's on another. I guess it's what's it called? What's the
a DAG?
A DAG, DAG. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still a DLT at the end of the day.
Right. And you know, everything's down to the consensus timestamp. Everything in hashnals, we don't have an indexer because when we inscribe, it's inscribing it directly onto the consensus mechanism. And so you don't have to, we have indexers, but all of the data is on chain and provable. You don't have to believe anyone. It's all verifiable down to the nanosecond already when we mint anything as a hashnal. So we'll bring that as well to ordinals, where you don't have to really trust anything. All ownership and tokenization will be down to a nanosecond provable in a main ledger.
Yeah, before I do call on the hands, and we'll go to Stephen our Jedi right after. There's a mass Trojan horse of trying to get these Bitcoin assets across different chains to optimize for whatever the community is looking for, right? So like the meme coin community on Runes is looking to trade on Solana. The artists, right, are going to inscribe on Bitcoin and probably interact just layer 1. For more increased functionality, right, you have to move to these off-chain kind of or distributed chain, I guess, type mechanisms. I mean, Emblem's been doing this, right, for 4 years. You have all these Bitcoin layer 2s, which are doing a variety of ways to get Bitcoin assets represented on their chain. I mean, Shannon and I, so Shan's the founder of Emblem. I mean, we were talking about this idea of even cross-chain recursion that you were speaking to, but more this idea of like when Emblem deploys on Bitcoin, right? If fees are still 200-300, sats per VByte, it's going to be incredibly expensive to just put art on a vault that will later at some point be destroyed. So, you could do something. This has been talked about literally for a year at this point, doing cross-chain recursion where you put the image, right, or the data on Litecoin or Dogecoin, and then you represent the vault on Bitcoin through the ownership layer, right? And this would be specifically for like, single use type ordinals, right? Things that are going in and out on like a conveyor belt where you don't need that permanence, but you do need it represented on Bitcoin. So there's all kinds of different ways that people are considering doing exactly what you're talking about, Patches. I mean, I think Bob is doing the same thing with ICP. Is there a correct way to do it? And no, this is why we're in this heavy experiment phase.
It's what I love, being on the cutting edge. Sometimes you get cut and bleed, but really, really exciting. I'm here for cross-chain. Like, I'm here for ICP to make a great bridge. The end result is a great user experience across all networks. So however we get there, I think it's just putting in the hours. But I got to dip out. I really appreciate you guys. I'm glad I could make it to the show a little bit today.
Yeah, always good talking to you. We're going to go to Steve and then Art Jedi.
Hey guys, just real quick, congratulations again to Gordon. What an accomplishment. That's super cool. Question, maybe it's just me being a little frustrated this morning, but is it just me, or is the level of Rune's understanding, the incompetence is just staggering and the impatience is palpable. I mean, it's just like, holy shit, guys, calm down, be patient. It's been around for 5 days. It's improving. Like, I'm trying to cut through the bullshit and find any
It's too late,
so I can,
Steve.
learn
10K
more.
is over.
It's too late. Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready to strangle some people in Discord that are just like so impatient. Like, my question is, any recommendations for more accessible forums to learn, discuss outside of spending a fucking car on, Pizza Ninja?
Oh, buddy. It is still a little bit distributed. I've just been kind of getting my information through different Twitter accounts. Chris, who was up here, Coffee Chris, who was up here, is pretty good at information. Yep. I've been posting a lot of info. It is really distributed. There's no real YouTube channel that's focusing specifically on runes yet. Although I would follow, there's these guys called the Ordinal Revolution that has a really good show. I would follow them. And they've been going pretty heavy in runes. I don't know really where else. It's really kind of the friction in terms of the education right now is very high, very, very high. You just got to be able to follow different accounts.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I don't have that. Ordinal Revolution would be my recommendation in terms of any rune information. They're really solid podcasters who do it every day.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. What's up, Art Jedi?
So just a comment, if anyone wants to be educated for just very, very basic sort of onboarding onto runes in Bitcoin ordinals, send them our way. It's called Rune Talk, Tuesdays, probably around 9 p.m. I'm still setting up time, so I'll let you guys know. We heard about recursion runes where musicians can do something really cool with data sets. Do you know anything about it?
I hear recursion and my brain starts frying. So no, I'm out.
Maybe Hooked on Roonies could let us know, because apparently he's studied the GitHub for runes. Okay.
I'm cooking in the front most of the time. My pit crew, they give me the intel on the more technical things, but there's a YouTube channel called Crypto Dad. I would check that out. He might be up on ordinals, but he's gonna help you set up your wallet. I don't know. What was the question?
Recursions, man. How do you do recursion?
Well, recursive like ordinals, I think you inscribe pieces, and then you can reuse those pieces later on. You can call them back. That's like a very broad stroke description, I think. But I'd have to ask my pit crew. And right now, they're out changing the oil on the old Winnebago on the mobile lab. So I don't know if I have some particular access to them at the moment. I'm sorry.
Actually, I think there is a website, and I'd have to look to find it, where it basically figures out the recursion on the back end. So you just kind of tell it what you want. And I don't know if Jake, if you remember that site, 8-Bit talks about it a lot. He's actually another good follow, is 8-Bit. He's got a whole website teaching that sort of stuff. And there's a site where you can actually tell it what you want as far as a recursive ordinal goes, and it'll kind of build it out for you. So, but shoot, I don't remember.
For runes, not for ordinals. For runes.
Sorry, for runes, I don't even know if that's like built yet. This is all for ordinals. Yeah.
It is. I'm gonna send you guys some information.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's happening
Well, pin
already.
it up top if you have a tweet. Pin it up top so people can see it.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Cool. I do want to call on Lucas, who's tried to come on stage a few times. What's up, man? Do you have anything on your mind?
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Okay. Loud and clear. Okay. All right. So my name is Lucas. I moved to US 2018. I'm started here from zero, and I kind of enjoy the American style of life and everything. I came from Brazil, and I think I did the right decision. Since we're talking about the privacy and all the stuff, and all the things that are happening with like censorship and all that. And I think crypto is the best weapon that we have in our hands to get more privacy, and the hands like out of the state, the dictatorship, or the people like think the state or government can do something for our lives that is better than us. So so far what I heard about all this ordinals, runes, and everything, I was like questioning myself. I mean, is all this stuff something like response from the situation where you live right now? I mean, since the last like 20, I know it's a new technology, but since like 20 years ago, is the things coming like worse and worse towards the people are living and struggling, and this is like kind of answer for all this question. What we can do about it is just wait until like all the rights get out.
Oh, did he cut off, or was that me?
All the rights and everything. So go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, Lucas. Sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, you feel it. Obviously, you probably.
I'm also. I'm also a GC, general contractor here. Somebody's calling me from Home Depot or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel it, you probably still have family back in Brazil, and I mean, you see, freedom is under attack all over the world, right? And I think as American myself, I still hold hope, because I do feel like there's enough freedom still here in America where we can fight back against it. And you see it happening in Brazil. I mean, I see it just cursory on the news, where they're trying to ban disinformation. I'm using my air quotes there, whatever that means. I mean, good Lord, if our government's telling us what disinformation is, we're lost. And so I think, the battle that kind of you and I probably both feel is that crypto provides this opportunity. And I've called it kind of the last line in the sand, like the last line of defense against this totalitarian ideas that are kind of spreading over the globe right now. And, I think crypto plays an important role in it. Not the only role, but an important role. And, the battles are being drawn. I mean, it's every day. We're getting hit on all sides, and especially in the States, we feel it, because we know, like, if the States falls, bro, there's not much help. There's not much hope for the world, in my view. So, the battle lines are here. We were on a space the other day, I think, with Charles Hotskins from Cardano. You know, and I asked him, you know, if the states kind of banned self-sovereign wallets, would you leave and be out? Would that be like you're out? And he's like, no, man. If the states falls, it's all over for the globe. And so he's put his line in the sand is no, he's going to fight here in the US for freedom, for privacy. And so I think that's probably the place, but boy, it's disheartening. Yesterday was a bad one for me, seeing what was going down with the Samurai Wallet guys. But beyond that, seeing my fellow citizens and being on spaces with people who are like, of course the government should be able to look at every one of your transactions. There should be 100% transparency with all your transactions. And I'm just like, holy shit, man, we have lost the plot. So yeah, vibe with it.
Hey, I have a suggestion. I have a suggestion for I have a suggestion for the U.S. government or all other government or state or anything. So why not put everything in blockchain? I mean, all the expenses and everything. My expenses, I have to tell them where it goes and where it came from. But all the expenses from the high shit, and they don't tell anything. It's unfair in many ways. It's unethical, immoral, and anything. Like it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I think that way. If you have Bitcoin right now, or you have any crypto that you think you believe in it, but for me, Bitcoin. So if you believe that you have Bitcoin, you're gonna be free in a couple of years. If you have enough, of course, you're gonna be free in a couple of years. That and another people would be slavery than never in human history, because the technology is here. They have all this control, everything. They have more cameras than people, and man, sooner or later, you're gonna screw it up. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Try not to get too discouraged, Lucas. But I mean, even a lot of people would say Bitcoin's under attack right now, and Bitcoin is trying to being basically controlled by exchanges, ETFs. If they get enough Bitcoin, they can control the miners, and so there's that battle too. There are a lot of battle lines right now, and especially if you're in crypto, you're kind of seeing these battle lines being drawn. But hey, we got to keep up the fight, man. This is what it's all about.
Yes, yes, sir. I think we are going to wrap it up here. I do want to thank Gordon for coming on stage today to talk about Art is the Ticker. Again, congratulations, man. Really cool to see an artist who's been in the space for 6-7 years snag that clean ticker, and that you have a vision with it as well. Really, really cool to see. For those that aren't aware, Adam, myself, and Chris, who are on stage, who work at Emblem Vault, the leading cross-chain tool in the industry with over 100 million in TVV. That's total value vaulted. We host this show Tuesday through Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, covering everything Bitcoin, runes, Doginals, stamps, Litecoin ordinals, counterparty, Bell's coin, Hashinals, and everything that is similar to an Inscription-like ecosystem. We'll be back on Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, guys, ladies, gals, gents, and everyone of all across the spectrum, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back on Tuesday. See you later.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye now.